Hello everyone and welcome to the Room of Requirement. Today we're going to be talking about these 7 layers of the energetic body and how to strengthen your aura. So let's just go ahead and dive right in. So the 7 layers of the energetic body. If you've been on a spiritual path for any length of time, you've likely heard people speak about the aura, the energy body, or vibration. But very few teachings explain what these layers actually are, how they function, and why they directly shape your nervous system, psychology, relationships, and capacity to manifest. The energetic body is not abstract. It is structured. It is layered, and it operates according to very precise laws. In this video, I'm going to break down the 7 layers of the energetic body, not as a belief system and not as symbolism, but as a functional anatomy of consciousness, where experience is stored, how regulation happens, and why some people can access higher states while others destabilize. This teaching is foundational because once you understand these layers, you can begin to see why nervous system regulation is the gatekeeper to magic and manifestation, and why your aura functions as an electromagnetic field, and why your life responds to coherence rather than intention. In the video that follows this one, we'll go even deeper, exploring how to regulate the field through advanced practices, and how this regulation eventually integrates into daily life, changing the way reality responds to your presence. But before we can talk about regulating the field, we have to understand the structure of the field itself. So let's begin with the first layer. This is foundational knowledge that will explain why nervous system regulation is the gatekeeper to magic and manifestation. So stay tuned for part 2 because I'm going to go deeper into this on exactly how to do this. But before we do that, I've got to explain these 7 layers so that you will fully understand how to implement all the knowledge in the next video. Okay, so section 1, the nervous system. It is the bridge between spirit and matter. Between spirit and matter, 1, the physical etherical interface. Every thought, emotion, and psychic impression passes through the etheric body first, the energetic template interwoven with the physical body. This etheric structure is mirrored in the nervous system, meaning that subtle energy influences nerve firing, emotions affect energetic flow, psychic impressions imprint through the autonomic nervous system, stress disrupts subtle perception, thus regulated nerves equals clear intuition, while dysregulation equals distortion. Occult systems such as theosophy, esoteric healing, hermeticism, they all teach that the nervous system is the dense physical expression of the etheric web. 2, the 2 energetic currents, electric and magnetic. So around our bodies, through our heart space, there is a toroidal field that runs around us that is emanated through the heart space. Your heart space is 1,600 times more powerful than your brain, and it emits electromagnetic field, which creates our aura. So there's 2 primary forces that do this. Okay, so I'm going to get into that. So the 2 primary forces circulate the energetic and the physical system. The first one is electric, and it's solar, and that one is on your right side. Okay. And it emits an electric current. It is active, projective, yang energy, penetrating, linked to will and focus, and travels predominantly up the spine. Then there's the left side, or the lunar side, or yin side. It is magnetic. So it is receptive, absorptive, yin, nourishing, linked to intuition and emotion, travels predominantly downward and inward. These currents cross throughout the body, forming a dynamic rhythm that affects psychic sensitivity. When the currents fall out of harmony, intuition becomes cloudy, overwhelm increases, emotional instability occurs, and psychic impressions become erratic. Balanced currents produce steady perception. So this is where breath work comes in. This is where grounding comes in. This is where physical movement comes in. Pranayama breathing is perfect for this. Okay? So it's very important that you're balancing both of these magnetic and electric currents, because these currents feed the nadi systems, which is connected to your nervous system, which also powers your 7 main chakras going through the column down your body. Symptoms of nervous system dysregulation. Okay, so psychic development cannot stabilize in the nervous system if it's overwhelmed, shut down, or alternating between extremes. An overactive or sympathetic dominance creates hyper-awareness, which means you're too open. It creates head pressure, crown buzzing, emotional flooding, difficulty filtering energy, over-identification with others' emotions, insomnia, or restless mind. This creates a noisy signal intake, causing intuitive impressions to blend with emotional static. Symptoms of dysregulation do not only manifest physically, they appear energetically, emotionally, intuitively, and even symbolically. Psychic perception relies on the clarity of the nervous system, so disruptions in the physical body directly distort subtle perception. So below is a more comprehensive breakdown. So I'm going to go into a little bit more of regulation and mixed dysregulation too as well. So if you're feeling any of these things, it just means that you're off kilter. A lot of people that are trying to develop their psychic abilities, they will feel one side or another, or they will feel a mix of both. So it's really important to come into complete coherence. Hyperactive symptoms. So when the sympathetic system overfires, the aura becomes jagged, the mental field speeds up, and the emotional body produces amplification instead of accuracy. So additional symptoms: sudden downloads that are chaotic or contradictory, feeling everyone's emotions as if they're your own, random intrusive thoughts, mental body overstimulation, sudden burst of energy followed by depletion, feeling a buzzing or humming or vibrating internally, heightened light or sound sensitivity, feeling energetically porous or unable to close your field, being overwhelmed by spiritual or metaphysical information, difficulty knowing if intuition is real or anxiety-based. Some real-life examples of this is standing in a grocery store and feeling panic that doesn't belong to you, being around a stressed person and immediately absorbing their tension, meditating and feeling like your crown chakra is blowing open, feeling electrified after social settings, too much third eye pressure when trying to intuitively focus. These symptoms indicate that the emotional and mental bodies are taking in more information than the etheric body can process. So this happens to everyone. This happened to me in the beginning years because I'm a psychic empath. So everything that I was feeling, it was completely distorted because my nervous system wasn't regulated until I started really working on that and putting a lot of work into regulating my nervous system. So this happens to a lot of people. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's just something that, you have psychic abilities. You just need to work on regulating the nervous system so that you can receive a clear signal. Underactive symptoms. When the parasympathetic system dominates excessively, the aura collapses inward, making perception dull or slow. So feeling detached from intuitive impressions, numbness or lack of emotional resonance, dream disconnection or inability to remember your dreams, lack of interest in spiritual material, feeling like intuition isn't working, physical heaviness or sluggishness, feeling spiritually offline, slow reaction to energetic cues, difficulty imagining, visualizing, or sensing symbols. Some real life examples of this is feeling like your intuitive channels have gone quiet, interacting with someone and being unable to read them, meditating and experiencing a blank screen, feeling spiritually apathetic after emotional burnout, And these indicate an energetic contraction, often due to overwork, grief, burnout, or emotional depletion. Now, some of these you can also feel when you are going through an integration phase, or you are experiencing some type of meridian or energetic burnout from too much spiritual activity. Then there's a mixed state dysregulation. So this is the most common state for intuitive people, alternating between hyperactive and underactive patterns. Additional symptoms are feeling spiritually open one day and shut down the next, intense intuitive bursts followed by crashes, erratic emotional perception, feeling like too much one moment and nothing the next, vacillating between psychic clarity and confusion, feeling split or wobbly or ungrounded between layers. Some real life examples are having a powerful intuitive dream but feeling drained the next day, being highly perceptive around some people but dull around others, and that is due to their frequency, by the way. Feeling clear during meditation, then overwhelmed afterwards. This usually results from inconsistent boundaries, unprocessed emotions, or sudden energetic surges that destabilize the etheric body. Underactive or parasympathetic nervous freeze. Numbness, fatigue, disassociation, foggy intuition, disconnect from your body, low frequency perception. This creates a weak signal reception, reducing capacity to perceive subtle energies accurately. Mixed dysregulation, alternating states. Periods of intense psychic sensitivity followed by shutdown. Internal vibration or energetic buzzing. Confusion about what is intuition versus anxiety. Feeling off after meditation or social interaction. And this state creates unpredictable signal distortion. Now, I have seen this in the spiritual community when I'm around a lot of people. I am currently teaching a course on psychic development, and the majority of people, I see this happen to them all the time. They'll think that they're getting a hit, and then, all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, their logic kicks in and I don't know if that's right or not, or they'll receive some information that is extremely distorted, and I can always tell if it's distorted or not because I can tell if their nervous system is dysregulated. And there's a lot of symptoms that I can tell through experience over the years of mentoring students whether their nervous system is dysregulated or not. But this is very, very common. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just something that you have to work on, and it takes a lot of practice. Okay, so I just wanted to give this graphic. It doesn't look exactly like this. Excuse me, but basically your aura goes out like this. It kind of comes out in this rainbow or egg shape around the whole body, and it all has different colors to it, which I will get into here shortly. But I just wanted to give you a visual representation of basically what it looks like when someone's aura looks like. It's multi-layered. It can go out anywhere from 1 to 3 inches all the way out to several yards or feet. But I just kind of want to give a visual to some people to kind of show you what it looks like. And these colors aren't super accurate, but I just wanted to show you. The energetic body. The energetic body is the subtle vehicle of consciousness. So your energetic body is not symbolic. It's an actual multi-layered structure surrounding and interpenetrating the physical body. It consists of 7 layers, each anchored to a higher level of consciousness and each receiving specific categories of psychic information. So each one of these layers has a specific frequency and a function. And all of the information that you get from outside sources, people, places, things, higher realms, higher dimensions, astral realms, other places, that is where the information is coming from before it actually hits your physical body and your nervous system. Okay? So these layers form the aura, and each one has a frequency, a texture, a level of awareness, a psychological function, a spiritual purpose, and higher layers vibrate more subtly. Lower layers are denser and closer to physical sensation. Okay, so layer 1 is the etheric body. This is the vital template layer. The distance is 1 to 3 inches from the skin. The color is electric blue or a violet shimmer. Its function, it channels prana or life force. It animates the physical body. It governs vitality, sleep, sensory processing. Its psychic role, this layer carries physical intuition. You sense energy through pressure, tingling, temperature shifts, and physical sensations. So this would be like goosebumps, temperature. You'll feel like something maybe like brushing up against you, like little things like that. This is the closest layer to your body. So if it's distorted, you're going to feel fatigue, weak boundaries, sensitivity to environments, feeling drained around certain people or places, and this is the layer through which precognitive physical sensations often come. So you're going to feel it energetically before you feel it in your body. The emotional body. So the distance is several inches to a foot. The color is shifting depending on your mood because it is your emotions, so our emotions are always shifting. The function of this layer, it holds emotions, stores unprocessed feelings, connects to empathy and emotional intuition. Its psychic role is, this is where clairsentience originates. You feel others' emotions and emotional tone of a space or collective energy waves. If it is distorted, you're going to have mood absorption, empathetic overwhelm, emotional projection, and that's usually on other people or your environment, or difficulty separating your feelings from others. This is super, super common when people are first starting out and they're not really attuned with their psychic abilities. This happens a lot. The mental body or the lower mental plane. The distance is 1 to 3 feet. The color is yellow, gold, or geometric structures. The function is thoughts, beliefs, and logic, analysis, memory, mental clarity. Its psychic role, this layer receives mental impressions, telepathic signals, intention awareness, and mind reading like intuitive hits. If it's distorted, you're going to experience overthinking, mental looping, anxiety, internal chaos, and difficulty distinguishing intuition from imagination. This is also very common. The astral or causal body, this is the higher emotional layer. The distance is 2 to 4 feet. The color is rose, emerald, and soft gold. The function is higher empathy, compassion, emotional intelligence, relationship resonance. Its psychic role, this is where soul level emotional perception occurs. You can sense authenticity, alignment, and relational truth here. If it is distorted, you're going to get attachment cords to people, places, and things, emotional enmeshment, so you're going to start to merge with their own emotions, spiritualized avoidance, and inability to detach from others' inner states. Then we have the higher mental body or the causal body. The distance is several feet outward. The color is white gold or diamond-like. The function is soul purpose, higher reasoning, moral truth, intuition-based logic. The psychic role of this layer is responsible for claircognizance, that is sudden knowing, soul wisdom, and karmic insight. If it is distorted, you're going to have confusion of life purpose, misalignment with soul direction, and chronic indecisiveness. So you will find this a lot when people are starting to question their own beliefs and almost have kind of like a midlife crisis, if you will. And they don't know what direction to go. They don't know what they believe. They're usually deconstructing from some type of other dogma or doctrine, and they're starting to come over to the spiritual path. So this is what's going on with them at the time. So the Buddhic body, this is the intuitive body. The distance is several feet to several yards. It's opalescent, iridescent, and prismatic. The function is direct spiritual intuition, unity consciousness, archetypal understanding, transpersonal insight. Its psychic role, this is the realm of clairvoyance and symbolic visions. Higher pattern recognition originates here. If it's distorted, they're going to have illusionary visions, archetypal inflation, and misinterpreting of symbols. Then we have the seventh and atmic body. This is a spiritual will body. The distance, it's expansive. It's a radiant field. It goes out really, really far. I've even heard up to 50 feet. The color of it is pure white, gold, or brilliant diamond light. This is the one that connects to your higher self. It's the closest to divinity. Okay, so its function is divine will, soul mission, fate and destiny alignment, pure spiritual consciousness, and its psychic role is the clarity of a yes or a no. There's no in between. When you're operating from this layer, you know if it's a yes or a no. This is where truth perception originates, not emotional truth, but existential truth. If it's distorted, you're going to have a disconnection from purpose, feeling spiritually lost, or inability to sense truth. How the 7 layers communicate information. So psychic signals move from the outer layers inward, through the emotional and mental layers, into the etheric, then into the nervous system, and finally becoming conscious perception. This is why intuition often arrives as sensation, emotion, symbolism, sudden insight, before it becomes a thought. This inward translation is the foundation of all psychic perception. Personal dimensional spaces. So if you guys have seen my previous videos, you've heard me talk about personal dimensional spaces. So personal dimensional spaces, when unstable, intuition becomes clouded or distorted. If it's expanded, personal dimensional spaces. So your personal dimensional space is your total energetic habitat. Okay, so you can imagine it like a sphere or an egg around your total body. And it is filled with everything from, it's like a globe-like multi-dimensional sphere made up of your thoughts, your emotions, your memories, your ancestral patterns, your astral residue, energetic tendencies, psychic imprints, thought forms, karmic threads, subtle bodies, unconscious material. This is where your subconscious is going to start dumping things into your personal dimensional space. This is where nightmares come from, sleep paralysis, seeing entities, all of these things. It is all going on in your personal dimensional space, which is ruled unconsciously, mostly by the subconscious. It is the environment in which your consciousness lives. Okay, so this is all levels of consciousness, especially your subconscious. What's inside a personal dimensional space? 1. Emotional imprints. Unprocessed emotions create astral echoes that circulate within your space. These imprints affect intuition because they color how you perceive others. 2. Thought forms. Repeated thoughts create geometric structures in the mental body. These can distort perception by acting as psychic filters. Okay, so this can cause a lot of distortion, especially when we're interacting with other people, because we are reading their thought forms. Because our personal dimensional spaces always overlap and a mess with each other, and we can't tell the difference. 3. Memory residue. Events leave energetic films on the emotional and mental layers. 4. Other people's energy. If your boundaries are weak, others' emotions or thoughts can lodge into your field, and eventually, if you're around them long enough and your boundaries are weak, they can lodge into your body, especially your own, and this can cause chronic pain in the body. Then you have 5 ancestral and lineage threads. So this is where, ancestral healing comes from, shadow work, all of that. Patterns inherited energetically, not biologically. These appear as emotional themes or karmic loops. Also, astral debris, residue from environments, interactions, or any kind of spiritual work. This can cloud clarity if not naturally metabolized. So anytime we do spiritual work, if your aura is not strong enough and it's not protected enough, if it's full of holes and you're not strengthening by grounding, any kind of spiritual work that you do, you're going to have this get lodged into your personal dimensional space, and it can cloud your perceptions and everything else. This is also where spiritual psychosis comes from as well, if you've heard that term. Okay. 7 is karmic and spiritual blueprints. So purpose imprints, archetypal themes, and destiny pathways. These inform guidance, dreams, and intuition. So that's why it is extremely important that you keep your nervous system regulated and your auric field strong, so that all of these things don't get stuck in you, other people, and in your body. How things become stuck inside the personal field. Strong emotional vents, number 1. And also, I want to mention briefly here, fear. Fear is the number 1 thing that is going to clog and become stuck in your personal field. It's very important that you release a lot of your fears. So trauma, grief, and conflict send powerful astral waves into the field. If not processed, they freeze in the emotional body. Repetition. Thoughts repeated often enough from mental constructs. So if you have negative thought loops, these are also going to get lodged in there too. Boundary breaks. So taking on others' emotions or mental projections. Okay, so when people get highly emotional, they create psychic imprints, and they will start to project their emotional trauma and pain and fear into you, and then this gets lodged. Energetic overload, too much meditation, channeling, or emotional exposure without grounding. So I was guilty of this in the beginning of my spiritual path. I was always working on the higher levels of my chakras and neglecting my lower chakras. And so all the information that I was getting, I wasn't grounding it, and I wasn't able to integrate it. And it was causing some problems. So this can cause energetic or meridian burnout if you do this. So always make sure that you are doing a lot of grounding practices. That is paramount. It's super, super, super important. I don't mean this to instill any kind of fear at all. That is not what I'm saying at all. But it's just very important that you maintain a solid grounding practice when you're working any kind of, spiritual practice. Environmental absorption. Sleeping in emotionally charged places or living with people who project negativity. This is very important to keep your energetic field, your auric field strong if you are forced to sleep or be around a lot of toxic people, family, places, things like that. Spiritual contact. So some spiritual encounters leave impressions in the higher layers. So this is all about discernment as well. But here's the thing. If your energetic field and your aura is strong, you're not going to have so many problems when you start interacting with higher level spiritual beings. This can be negative or it could be positive. Okay, I'm not meaning to instill any kind of fear in any way, but it's important to keep yourself protected. And this doesn't mean be vigilant and have panic and be paranoid or stop altogether. This just means that you need to remain regulated and keep your aura strong so that you can deal with these things when they do happen, and they will happen. Okay, you guys, so that's all I have for you. I hope you really enjoyed this one. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below. I hope that I've helped at least someone understand how all this works. Please look forward to the next video. I'm going to take a deeper dive into how to regulate your nervous system and a bunch more that's going to explain this on a deeper level. But until then, thank you guys for sticking around. I appreciate all my new subscribers, and I will see you guys later. Bye.